All right, guys, welcome back to A Veteran's View. I'm your host, Patrick, and today I wanted to do my full in-depth kind of overview of the proposed stimulus package that Joe Biden is looking at. Now, this is just a rough outline. Nothing is set in stone. All we know is he has released this. He has made this information known. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are both in agreement with pretty much everything that's in here, but we don't know what some of the other congressmen, congresswomen, or senators may want to add to this, or may want to increase, or may want to decrease. So I just kind of wanted to go through each of these, just kind of give you guys a breakdown. I did a short video, or a shorter video yesterday, where I covered just kind of the highlights, kind of the big ticket items that people are looking for. Stimulus checks, the increased unemployment, SNAP benefits, those kind of things, rental assistance, mortgage forbearance. But today I kind of wanted to go through everything that is in here. So pretty much start out, if you guys didn't see my video from yesterday, I definitely go check it out, because you're going to get all your information much quicker than you will in this one. So just kind of starting out. Joe Biden on the campaign trail, when he was campaigning for Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff down in Georgia, he was calling for $2,000 stimulus checks. He said, if you elect these two individuals, $2,000 stimulus checks will start getting sent out immediately. Those were his words. Well, according to the outline and the information he gave at his press conference yesterday, he's only looking at doing the $1,400 stimulus checks. Now, what he's doing is he's saying, hey, you guys already got $600. We're going to add $1,400. And then we're going to round that all together and say, well, you got $2,000 stimulus checks. The problem is for one, he's already promoting this like he's the mastermind behind it, when he's not. Two, 600 of that $1,400, or 600 of the $2,000 is what Trump signed. And those checks have Trump's name on them, not Joe Biden's. So with that, I don't know how long that is going to stick, especially with some of our more progressive members that we have, especially in the House, but also in the Senate. Because you've got some individuals that want to see that universal basic income, to include Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders is now going to be the chairman on the budget committee. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Now, the one difference is with the additional $1,400. So if you're average adult, child, whatever the case may be, and you got your $600 already, this $1,400 will get added to that. And there's no cap on it. So, I mean, if you have 15 kids, you're going to get an extra $1,400 for all 15 kids, plus yourself, plus your spouse, whatever the case may be. Where it really changes, though, is adult dependents. So adult dependents were left out of the first stimulus check. They were left out of the second stimulus check. They will not be left out of the third one. So what that means is the first one that we got last year, the $1,200, they would get that, adult dependents would, plus they would then get the $600 that was passed by Trump, plus the $1,400 that looks like might be in Biden's plan. So that's for adult dependents. So that's clutch. Then we've also got individuals with an ITIN number who are married to a U.S. citizen. So in the last stimulus package, that wouldn't fly. This one, as long as you are married to a citizen, if you have an ITIN number, you should qualify for the stimulus check. The other thing we're looking at here is $400 per week unemployment boost. So the way it's going to work, as it's currently written, the $300 per week that was passed in this last bill by Trump, they're going to let that $300 per week ride out until March 14th. Then starting March 15th through the end of September, which is the fiscal year for the federal government, September 30th is the end of fiscal year 2021 for the federal government, you will get that $400 per week. Then we've got, this is a big one. This is a really big one. Now this, we don't know if this would potentially stay going forward, but what they're looking at is increasing the child tax credit. So if you guys are aware, when Donald Trump did his tax overhaul that he did a couple years ago, they increased the child tax credit. It used to be, I believe, $1,000 per child, up to so many kids, and then as long as you fell under a certain yearly income. Well, under Trump's tax plan, that $1,000 child tax credit doubled to $2,000. What Joe Biden wants to get in here is he wants to, so for any child under the age of 6, instead of getting $2,000 as a tax credit for them when you file your taxes and claim them, they want to give them $3,600. So that would be a $1,600 increase. Now, if your child is age 6 up to age 17, you are going to get a $3,000 child tax credit instead of $2,000. Now, the nice thing about this is a refundable tax credit. So what that means is even if you were not required to pay taxes, this money doesn't just get tied up and washed out because it's like, oh, well, you didn't pay taxes, so you don't get it. No, you would still get that money. So that's going to be clutch for a lot of people. The 15% increase to the SNAP program, he also wants to extend that, and that will also be extended out until the end of the fiscal year, so September 30th. Here's another big one right here, and this one's probably where you're going to see the most amount of issues from Republicans is $15 minimum wage, federal $15 minimum wage. So as it currently stands, the federal minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. And that number, from what I understand, has not changed in over a decade. So for him to want to come in and try and not only double it, but more than double that across the U.S., that is going to be probably one of the biggest sticking points in this bill that's going to prevent Republicans from voting for it. But we'll see what his plan is. And then he also wants to, with that, end the tipped minimum wage. So what that is if you're in a particular state, there are a few states that have already fixed this, but if you're in a particular state, your employer could pay you like $2 an hour, $2.13 per hour. And as long as you got enough tips within that hour to bring your total pay over the federal minimum wage, they didn't have to pay you anymore. So your company or your business, your restaurant, wherever you work, they may only be paying $2 or $3 an hour for you. And that's getting made up by tips. Now, we have certain states that have done things about that, California notably being one, Florida being one. So, but at the federal level, though, that's going to be a very difficult one for them to pass. Then we've got $350 billion for state and local governments. This is also going to be a tough pill to swallow for Republicans, because a lot of your Republicans fear or are concerned that the states are going to use this money to make up for years of mismanagement, for years of taking money from their own mandatory expenditures, so like their state employee retirement, their PERS system, a lot of their state mandated expenses. Republicans are worried that they're going to use this money, funnel some of it off, and go to cover some of those expenses when they shouldn't have done that. Now, obviously, as we know, the Democrats' rebuttal to that is going to be, look at how much money we have had to spend out of pocket just since this started, on masks, on PPE, on this, on testing, on bringing in new staff, temp employees. So the state's got legitimate ways of showing just how much this has cost them. It's just a matter of getting enough Republicans on board with it. And then also $20 billion for public transit systems. So I know like New York City's having a lot of issues with their metro system, and their financials are just in total disarray. Then we've got $170 billion for schools. So $130 billion of that is going to specifically go to kindergarten through 8th grade. And this is going to be fully equipping the schools to be able to operate an in-person learning environment for the students within 100 days of Joe Biden becoming president. That is his plan. The vast majority of schools open by the end of his 100th day of presidency. So of that 170 billion, 130 billion is going to go directly to the schools to get the filters they need, sanitation equipment, all that kind of stuff. 35 billion is going to go to colleges, and then 5 billion is going to go directly to governors that they can utilize in their homeless programs to target the areas that are most affected by homelessness. Then we've also got the rental assistance and rental forbearance. So as it currently stands with the rental assistance, in the second stimulus check that was passed by Trump at the end of December, that allocated $25 billion in rental assistance. Well, Joe Biden wants to add an additional $30 billion on top of that to put us at about $55 billion for rental assistance. Rental or mortgage forbearance. Mortgage forbearance is also going to be extended through September 30th, along with the rental assistance, once again to the end of the fiscal year. Then we've got paid sick leave. So for a lot of businesses that fall within certain categories, businesses with less than 500 employees, if they have an employee who they believe has COVID or tests positive for COVID, the business has to pay the employee. They cannot stick them at home without pay. But then the employer will also get reimbursed up to, I believe it's $1,400 per week for those costs per employee. Which that'll be really nice, because then it'll kind of take away the incentives that a business might have to, not that we want to think of this kind of stuff happening, but to have their people come to work even if they know they're sick. Not saying that would ever happen, but I'm sure there's some bosses out there who can be pretty sticklers. Then they want to do $25 billion to open childcare centers. Now, a lot of this is so they can get people who are stuck at home with their young children who are not of school age, to be able to get them to return back to the workforce. And $15 billion in grants for essential workers. Now, he didn't really specify what he meant for that. And I know a lot of people have been talking about like hazard pay and stuff like that. So this 15 billion, I'm not exactly sure what it is that's going to be targeted to. Then we're going to do 35 billion in loans to help small businesses. 15 billion in what it looks like to be EIDL grants. Another thing is the earned income credit. So that they're also looking at. I believe right now the earned income credit is somewhere around 500 and something dollars when you file your taxes. If you made over a certain amount when you filed, but also below a certain amount, and it's kind of this really complex algorithm they use. But that's getting increased to $1,500. So once again, another potential credit you could see when you file your taxes. And then one final thing that they're looking at doing is there was a lot of talk about increasing SSI, SSDI, and veteran benefits. So pretty much what's going to come of that is Joe Biden wants to do those as a standalone piece of legislation because he views it as it's a fix-it bill. We're going to go in, we're going to take this current pay system and also the COLA system that's utilized, and we're going to give it an entirely new benchmark, which at least during this COVID period, it would be a $200 per month increase. But then after that, this new benchmark that they want to use for those benefits will actually increase your benefits by, from what he is saying, granted we haven't seen the numbers yet, would increase those benefits about 20% over your period of time collecting them. So we would see a 20% increase over those benefits throughout the rest of our life. Which I think is pretty cool because I'm a vet. I got my nice vet bod shirt on here. You know, it's like dad bod, but with more knee pain. You guys will have to let me know if you fall into the same boat I fall into, because every time I get out of bed, my knees are pinging and popping and cracking, and it's a mess. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video right here. Once again, if you guys like this content, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of this kind of content, also hit the subscribe button. As a lot of YouTubers say, you know, especially as I'm growing on here, the more interaction that I get on my videos, likes, subscribers to my channel, and comments, it tells YouTube that I'm putting out at least halfway decent stuff that somebody would want to listen to, that somebody would want to watch. And I appreciate you guys taking your time and watching this. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, I am going to do my first live stream. Hopefully, depending on how many people I could maybe see be on board and you know, be willing to partake. So we'll kind of play that by ear. But with that, guys, have a good night. Bye.